From man's best friend not abandoning the one that he loves even when death takes her away, to Chise not abandoning Elias when Elias to most people would look like a terrifying monster, she once again sees him as someone loving and caring and the one who saved her. This episode was about loyalty, and oh my goodness, did loyalty truly matter in this episode, and I loved how it was portrayed. On the Ruth side of this episode, it was brilliant. Absolutely like Ruth as a character. Love seeing a bit more about how he was not going to ever abandon. It definitely felt like exactly how a dog would feel, where you can pretty much see, like, once of someone that the dog was with always is no longer there, they get very depressed, and you can tell they don't understand what is happening, which is exactly how Ruth was, sitting by the grave, constantly saying, like, Isabel will wake up one day. And it's hard to watch because you can just probably relate it to your own pets or someone that you knew who passed away and their pets kind of getting all down and depressed because they don't know what happened, and it's pretty hard to see that from time to time because dogs don't just abandon their owner after they're gone. They're very much a loyal beast there. And to see how Ruth was just destroyed and how ultimately Ruth becomes Chise's familiar, which is the perfect thing because Elias did mention, I believe a few weeks back, that he needs to find her a familiar, which familiar is literally not just a pet, it's something tying the two together. If Chise dies, Ruth will die. And I just love how it's the most natural pairing for the two. Someone like Chise, even though she does have Elias, she still has felt alone at times, and to have someone like Ruth who would be her best friend and there for her always as the most loyal companion possible, it's so natural, and it gives also Ruth a purpose because he's able to move on, especially after seeing what happened to Isabel and just the beast that she ultimately became, which is just rubbing salt into the wounds. This guy isn't the ultimate prick here. Not only did he stab Chise, he also turned Ruth. Oh, you can't do that, that's just horrible. But I like seeing that because it definitely feels like the pairing between Chise and Ruth is natural, it fits the show, and it's going to make for their interactions and development to be even better, because I love how it was just magical, and I love how it's being portrayed as, like, man's best friend, a dog and their master kind of a thing, and like, even some of the side characters, the sorcerer and the master, the episode was about loyalty, and I felt like it didn't feel, like, superficial, it felt like this was natural, all these relationships, and why people weren't abandoning other people, it just felt like, yes, you understand how people think, especially even how a dog would think, even if it did have more or less human intelligence. But I think the star of the show to me is honestly Chise's reaction to Elias's form. This is it's a terrifying form to see what Elias can become, and I imagine he could get even more scary the more upset he is. But Chise isn't like saying, yeah, you should turn back into your normal form because you're terrifying and you scare me. No, you should probably turn back to your normal form because you're a little too tall, you're probably not going to be able to fit through the door, and you don't want to get yelled at for breaking the door. Which you can tell, it dumbstruck him, because, like, this girl isn't seeing me as a terrifying monster who she needs to be frightened from. She sees me as Elias, the person who saved her and gave her a home and gave her a family. That's the kind of shit I like to see, because so many people are tied to looks and just things that don't matter, and the things that should really make you attached to someone or attracted to someone is their actions first and foremost. And I love how this is just so perfect for Chise. Most people seeing Elias, yes, not having any sort of connection, you'd be terrified of seeing that. But Chise, that's just the person I live with. I mean, the person who saved me, gave me a home, called me family. Why would I be scared of you? It doesn't even cross her mind to be freaked out. That's what I like to see. I love how it wasn't just Ruth stealing the show. It was also Chise and Elias's little bonding time. I loved it. I just like how they're portraying multiple concepts. Each episode, it feels like they have a big hitting home point. Like either it's an emotion or something like that. This week it was definitely loyalty. I think they just did it overall beautifully. Nothing felt a little too out of place. And I just loved Chise's one moment in the episode. She was almost to lose her mind there. And if it wasn't for Elias kind of stopping her, we would have saw something probably she shouldn't have done, especially based on Elias's words of there is certain things you cannot do, which I believe one of them would definitely be reviving the dead. That's probably something that everyone agrees with we can't do, but also maybe just going insane and killing someone and disintegrating them, maybe erasing their existence. That's probably another rule that is in place there, which based on the fact that when Elias was touching her, his hand was kind of disintegrating, it definitely feels like if she would have got too close, she could have erased his existence, which even if we could argue that he deserved it, that definitely is probably going against the laws of nature there, so it's probably for the best that Elias stopped her when he did, but overall, Beautiful episode. It was a very dark looking episode, even though it was darker in tone. This was a very gloomy and very dark looking episode, much different from a lot of the vibrant and colorful episodes that we've seen in the past, but it definitely just helped make this episode feel both magical, so when those beautiful, just colorful scenes were there, it made it even more impactful. Have it just being set gloomy with Elias in monster form and all the individual stuff, when we had those colorful moments to make us think, wow, this is so magical, like when Ruth and Chisei become a pact. It just had so much power to it, and I just loved how this was functioning. From the visuals to the audio, especially the voice actors, they just hit it out of the park this week. This was a great episode, easily my favorite episode of The Ancient Magus' Bride, but that's not surprising. Most weeks it feels like either they stay just high in quality or they top the best episode. This definitely topped it for myself, but let me know your thoughts. What did you think of this episode and how it portrayed loyalty? And what did you think of Ruth now being Chisei's familiar? And how did you enjoy Chisei not just being scared of Elias? I thought it was just so natural and pure and I loved it. But let me know your thoughts. And before you leave, smack that like button to share your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.